Yes, what is going on? It is great to be here for Fight Week as we officially start Fury Wilder #3 this Saturday right behind me at T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas. I'm Ray Flores, Premier Boxing Champions at TGB Promotions, and alongside from Top Rank Boxing, the lovely and the super talented Christina Poncher.
Thank you. Your check is in the mail. Thank you for that introduction, Ray. We're super excited for all of you that were lucky enough to be able to join us here live and all the media. Thank you for coming out so early in the week. Ray and I are going to get a chance to talk to both Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury here at the Grand Arrivals, and then open it up to questions for the media that is here in attendance.
And I see a lot of media from all over the world, so before we go ahead and continue, I want to thank the media for joining us wherever you may be coming. I see media from overseas, from all over the United States, and also the fans. Most importantly, if you're a fan, you're excited for Wilder Fury #3, make some noise, Las Vegas! They're ready to go. We were told that they're all set and ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, now we want to bring to the stage. This man has a record of 42 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 41 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the former WBC heavyweight champion of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the Olympic bronze medalist representing Tuscaloosa, Alabama, with a knockout percentage of over 93%. Here is the bronze bomber, Deontay Wilder. It is great to see the bronze bomber, Deontay Wilder, in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, the bronze bomber himself, as he takes on Tyson Fury this Saturday night. Deontay, it is great to see you. We've seen the videos, we've seen the photos. You look in the best shape of your life. How are you feeling as you head into Saturday night's colossal matchup?
I feel great. I mean, I feel amazing. You know, like I said before, we done broke ourselves down. I'm rejuvenated, reinvented, and I'm ready to go. Saturday night is it's going to be a special night. I think the fans are in for a treat, as they always are when the bronze bombers step in the ring.
How much did you miss this atmosphere? Because every time you fight, it's an electric atmosphere, it's wild, it's crazy, and you provide fireworks without a doubt. How much did you miss this?
I missed it a lot, but I think the time that we had off, you know, I think it was well needed as well, you know, to get the body back right. You know, to spend a little bit more time with the family.
We ran the feed into the camera, and
the world went through
the side
something
camera,
that we're
now
all
we
still
put it
going
in
through
the other
together,
camera.
and I think that was time we all needed with the family as well. You know, we worked so hard. You know, so many of us are always busy around the world, and
they're running
you know, I think a lot of things is well
on camera
needed,
built-in
you know,
mic, and they're running the feed into the other camera.
Back again,
right now.
you know, God has given us ability to come here again and do it one more time. You know, and it's nothing like boxing. It happened to the fans in boxing, you know, some of the best fans in the world.
Your first fight with Tyson Fury was December of 2018. This is nearly a 3-year process of when you guys have been fighting against one another and dealing with promotional entities, et cetera, and, you know, all the contract negotiations. How excited are you to finally close the chapter on this book, in the sense that both you and him will move on after Saturday night?
Oh my God, it's been a long time coming, and I can't wait. You know, it's going to be a special moment for me to get back in there and to show the people, to reintroduce myself to the world, to show the people what I'm all about. You know, again, I'm very excited. Every time it's the week of the fight, it's always the time where we're like, it's the hardest time because we have to wait. You know, sometimes we get confused what day of the week it is. You know, we're always rushing ahead of the day. I'm like, oh, it's just still Tuesday, or it's just still this and that, you know. But it's gonna be great, man. I'm looking forward to the night. I'm looking forward to the fans and the electrifying, the electricity that's gonna be in the arena. You know, all that I miss, and coming out, seeing all my fans, and on this one special night.
Part of that reintroduction is your new trainer, Malik Scott. I've known you for a long time, and I feel like this is the best spiritually and mentally that I've ever seen you over the course of over your 10 years as a prize fighter. Do you believe in that sentiment?
Most definitely. That's 100% correct. You know, one thing about it, Ray, I have all my brothers around me. You know, it's something that I never had before. You know, they would come and go. But this point in time, they all is with me. They've been with me from day one, from ever since the last outing to now, nonstop. We've been all together, and it's just been beautiful. When I tell people about that 4-letter word of love, we have that in this camp, and it's no other place or better place to be than around people that really, really loves you and that has your back, and they can look in your face and they say they love you and really, really mean it. Because there's a lot of people that say they love you, but they don't mean it. But when I have certain people around me and they tell me that, I don't have to worry. I have no doubts, and it's been a blessing to have so many amazing men around me, amazing women around me, and family all together. And this is what makes this moment even more special, because it's not for me, it's for everyone.
What does two-time heavyweight champion of the world mean to you?
Man, I think I can say a lot right now, but I think once it happens, I'm gonna have a different feeling. So I'm waiting on that feeling to see what it really gonna mean and what I'm really gonna feel. I'm an energy being, so I always react off of my energy of things. So once I receive that and have my hand raised in the sky, and they say two-time heavyweight champion of the world, I can tell you after.
My last question, I know you're big on visualization. I know you're big on manifesting things. On Saturday night, how you see the fight playing out with you and Tyson Fury in your third fight on pay-per-view?
I see me beating them up and then knocking them out. You know, many things that I visualized in the first fight, along with the second. You know, and I didn't execute game plan, but this time around, it's just a different feeling. You know, all the way around. You know, just all the surrounding around me, the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? Just the energy as a whole. You know, and I'm looking forward to putting on a great performance come October the 9th, you know, and those that's going to be in the arena, they're going to feel the electricity that's in there, and those that can't make it, don't be afraid to click that button on Fox pay-per-view, baby. You don't want to miss it.
You better do it now, so says the Bronze Bomber. Now we're going to open up questions from the media real quick, Deontay. We got a couple of media members who have questions. If we go ahead, and by all means, go ahead and speak. Keith Idek, go ahead.
Deontay, how you doing? How difficult of a decision was it for you to change trainers, being that Jay had been your head guy for so long? And can you tell us what went into that decision for you?
It wasn't a difficult situation at all. I changed trainers soon after the fight. That's how easy it was. And, you know, the people that I have on my team, like I said, is filled with love. So we don't step on each other's toes. And if it's certain decision making that needs to be made, we're all game players. We're able to scramble around. And what works for us, we allow it to work for us. And so it wasn't no egos. We don't have big egos in our camp. And that's a special thing about my camp and about my brotherhood that I have with my guys. That what don't fit with one person, it may fit with the other, and we still work together. If we disagree on something, within that same day, we'll agree on it. You know, we'll come around, we'll make it work. And that's what makes us so special.
More questions. We have questions out in front. Andres?
Deontay, working with Malik Scott, is it about reinvention or is it about refining the tools that you already have? So what I'm asking is, we're going to see a different version of you or just a better and more improved version of Deontay Wilder? That's
you know, I've always said I'm reinvented, rejuvenated. You know, the thing about Malik, you know, he can. It's like I've been saying, it's nothing that he really taught me. It's something that is mostly what he can bring out of me that I've already had, something that I can do on a consistent basis. You know, they say practice make perfect, and practice make permanent. So that's what we've been doing throughout this whole camps, and every time the fight been delayed, we had no problems. We sat back, we still smiled, you know, we still prayed together, ate together, and did everything together as a family. So, you know, over the time, that allowed us to even more come closer together and work on the game plan that lies at hand. And here we are, October the 9th. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Got another question out here in front?
Hey, champ, it's Timmy Witherspoon. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Okay. I just wanted to ask you, do you think you have enough experience to fire and try to get a new trainer? I know you were searching for skills and try to make yourself better. Do you think like the management or somebody else should assist you in trying to find somebody that can help you? I know you knew Malik. You was your sparring partner, right?
He's
Not really.
Nah.
Okay, but I'm just saying, do you think you had enough experience to find another, to get another trainer instead of you maybe needed help to find a trainer?
You're saying you're asking me was I knowledgeable enough to find someone to be compatible for me to
because
learn
you
what
changed
I need to.
trainers. What I'm trying to say, you changed trainers, so you needed to learn some different skills. So if you had to learn skills, do you think other people should have assist you in picking the trainer?
It wasn't nothing I learned. Malik can bring the best out of me. It's what I've already had, and we're making it happen on a consistent basis.
Well, Malik's been a part of your team for a long, long time. He's been around and really been instrumental with you as well. So it's not like you just went ahead and said, Malik, come on in, you're my lead trainer. He's been with you for a very long time. And the one thing about it that I think is helping you out is familiarity. He knows you. You guys know each other so well and you click together. And from an outsider's perspective, I'm seeing a chemistry and I'm seeing a love that I think will benefit you as you head into this third fight.
Most definitely. And, the thing about it with trainer and fighter, you need a chemistry. And one thing that we have, we can communicate without speaking, with our mouths. We understand each other. And what we have, a lot of trainers go a lifetime, trying to build with a fighter. And we already have that coming in. So that's that right there already put us ahead of a lot of things. So, like I said, my favorite saying is once understood, don't have to be explained. And October the 9th, everything will be explained, and many people will understand what I'm saying.
Deontay, thank you so much for your time. Always a pleasure. The Bronze Bomber, ladies and gentlemen, Deontay Wilder, an electric fighter without a doubt with a knockout percentage of over 93%. As we bring up once again Christina Poncher. And Christina, I'll tell you this. I can't wait for this fight. Oh, my goodness. I was a little disappointed, much like the rest of the world, when the fight got postponed from July 23rd to October 9th. But you know what? Patience and absence makes the heart grow fonder, and my heart has grown more fonder for this fight. And now it's on Saturday night on pay-per-view.
I mean, everything that Deontay said, extremely focused. And I think to your point and to what he was saying about just building more time and more chemistry with Malik, I mean, I think that the extended time probably was even better for him than had they fought on the original date in July.
Now, you and I don't like to give predictions, but as I'm looking at this fight, both of them have been very entertaining and compelling and certainly put us on a roller coaster of emotions as fight fans. But I think that this third fight is going to be the best out of the entire trilogy.
I mean, I think it's... when we saw Deontay Wilder come out and floor Tyson Fury in that first fight, I mean, you thought at that point it was over. Move on, done deal, right? He gets back up. And then you see in the second fight... Twice, excuse me. Then they get back up, and then they have a second fight. And Tyson tells everybody what he's going to do. Most people don't believe him. And he completely takes the fight to Deontay Wilder and ends up stopping him. So what are we going to see this time? It's up in the air. We've seen two completely different fights in the first two. It's a lot of question marks here going into fight number 3.
I think that we're going to see the best Deontay Wilder, and I think we're going to see the best Tyson Fury, which is why I think it will be the best fight out of the trilogy.
I mean, I would have to agree. And like you said, I mean, they're both ready to start round 20. If you will. It's not round 1 of the third fight. Tyson has been saying the whole time, this is round 20. We're just going to continue to do what we do best. And I think he's set on trying to get a stoppage earlier than he did in the second. And then you heard Deontay say right now, I mean, he's even better than he was before with Malik, who was always in his corner, but is now the man in his corner. So I'm excited to see what he brings as well.
And also, this is a rarity for those of you, I mean, I can't remember the last time we had a heavyweight trilogy with all the marbles on the line. It doesn't get much bigger, literally and figuratively, than Las Vegas, heavyweight championship of the world, and the third fight of this trilogy. The book will be closed. No more chapters after this one.
Well, there better not be. You have those people that are out there saying, okay, well then what happens if
conspiracy
if
theorists,
Deontay wins this, then it's a draw, and then each guy won 1. Are we going for fight number 4?
I don't like
We'll
conspiracy
just put that to
theories.
the
Yeah,
side.
let's just
Speaking
kind
of four, there are 4 heavyweight fights.
I
though,
love it.
On
See, that's
the
why she's
card,
really good on
the
TV.
pay-per-view. Ray and I will have the pleasure of calling the pay-per-view for our international audience on Fight Night. But we opened the show with a heavyweight that's kind of taken the world by storm as a prospect, Jared Anderson, 9-0, 9 knockout sparring partner of Tyson Fury. I'm really excited to see him. We got a great rematch.
Oh, yeah.
on the
We also
pay-per-view.
have Adam Kopnotski and Robert Helenius. That fight is a rematch. I mean, talk about rematches. I mean, that might be a little bit of a theme here. But Kovnatski suffered his first blemish back in March of last year before COVID really struck the United States, unfortunately. Helenius got a big win. He was a massive underdog. He's trying to replicate that performance. And then a fight that I think is going to be ridiculous with Frank Sanchez and Efe Ajagba.
Efe Ajagba fought on that undercard. He has the record for the quickest knockout in all of boxing, a 1-second knockout when his opponent literally got up and walked out of the ring as soon as the bell rang. So hopefully we get a little bit more of both of those guys. But 2 undefeated guys going at it in the co-main event. I'm very, very excited about that. So make sure you do not miss this all heavyweight pay-per-view. It's going down Saturday, October 9th, right here at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Select tickets still available too.
Yeah, and if you're not inside the T-Mobile Arena when both of these guys fight, together they provide entertainment, electricity. You do not want to miss it. AXS.com, T-Mobile Arena box office is how you want to go ahead and purchase your tickets. And also, Christina, this card is loaded from top to bottom. We start just before 2 o'clock, so get in there early because the fights before the pay-per-view are fantastic. Edgar Berlanga
That's
on
right.
the undercard?
That's right.
Julian Williams on the undercard? Come on.
It is a stacked card. And look, you pay one price for the ticket. You might as well get there early and watch all 9 fights. Get your money's worth. The early fights are free. They'll be streaming live on all PBC and Top Rank digital platforms, so you'll be able to hear Ray and I call those. And then, as you mentioned, the Julian Williams-Hernandez fight and then the Berlanga and Corceres fight are going to be on free television right before the pay-per-view. So really a stacked card, and that's somewhat rare these days, at least from top to bottom on a pay-per-view.
Yeah,
especially with the main event like this.
Oh, I mean, this main event alone is well worth the price of the pay-per-view. But we get going right before 5 o'clock Eastern Time, 2 o'clock Pacific Time, and we're going to take you throughout the entire night. And you know what, Christina? There are so many 50-50 fights on this card. I got to give credit to the matchmakers with PBC, with Top Rank, with TGB Promotions, everybody involved, because these are pick'em fights.
Yeah, if you read a lot of the articles that the media have been putting out, you see picks all over the place, even in the main event. Wilder by stoppage, Fury by points. Who knows what's going to happen in the main event? And it's kind of like that, like you said, from top to bottom on this card. And what I also like is it continues to give breath, give life to being able to make fights between PBC and Top Rank. We're going to see it again with Sean Porter and Terrence Crawford.
Yes.
So if these kind of things can continue to happen, fights of this magnitude, fighters from different promotional companies able to fight each other on the same card, sky's the limit in terms of the fights that we can get going forward when things like this come together and are successful.
And Christina, fights like this need to happen. Cross-promotional fights and shows need to happen. The rosters of PBC and Top Rank are extremely deep, and now we're starting to see more of the guys fighting against each other, and I think this is wonderful for the sport, and the fans get to benefit.
I agree. I mean, hands down, there's not too much more to say about it. We all win when these kind of fights happen, when these fighters come together to do what they do in the ring, to unify titles, which is what we've seen. It's the best thing for the sport, and it's what's going to keep the sport on the top of the game. And then when you get an all heavyweight pay-per-view like this, I mean, somewhat, it's always kind of been in boxing. Boxing goes as the heavyweight division goes. It was the premier division in the sport for the longest time. And although we have other great divisions right now in the sport, welterweight, et cetera, I mean, the heartbeat of the sport has to be the heavyweights, and we got 4 on the pay-per-view for you.
4 pay-per-view fights, and that's what is curious to me, Christina, is obviously the main event, deservedly so, is front and center. But for the rest of the 3 undercard fights, you know, people say, oh, well, you can come in for the co-main event, midway through the co-main event. You can't do that on this card. 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific time. Lock yourself in either at home or here at the T-Mobile Arena, because the other 6 guys underneath the main event, they're trying to make a statement. They want to prove that they're the next big thing in the heavyweight division.
And Ray, one of those early fights that I think everyone should keep their eye on, whether you're watching it while you're getting ready in your room, getting there early, or watching it streaming on Top Rank or PBC, Robesi Steve Ramirez against Orlando Gonzalez. That is one of the fights on the undercard that I'm very much looking forward to. Steve Ramirez, a Olympian, a fantastic fighter, got stopped, lost in his pro debut. Ever since then, he's been on a terror. He's the one that beat Shakur Stevenson in the Olympics when Shakur got the silver medal, and he's fighting the undefeated Puerto Rican. He's 17-0 with 10 knockouts. So again, that Gonzalez-Ramirez fight is one that I'm really looking forward to as well, streaming on the undercard early Saturday night.
And as we dive into the main event, Christina, although Fury and Wilder are polar opposite human beings, there are some parallels in them, in the sense that both guys have dealt with adversity at some type of their life. And, Wilder, when it comes to he's a family man. He started boxing to support his daughter, who's now doing great. She has spina bifida. Tyson Fury, he's had battles of depression and mental illness, and now he's an advocate for mental health. Both guys have dealt with their fair share of adversity, and they're both fighting on the biggest stage of them all here in Las Vegas.
I mean, it just adds to the buildup of the fight. These two know each other so well, and I think that's why this trilogy has become, such a grudge match between these two. They are two huge, larger-than-life character, both in stature and in personality, which lends itself just to the magnitude of this fight in what has been dubbed the fight capital of the world here in Las Vegas. I mean, what else could you ask for than a heavyweight world title fight on a Saturday night in Las Vegas? I can't wait. We are still waiting for Tyson Fury to come out, so stay tuned with us.
And I'm sure he'll be making his way soon.
Will, so
but
stick with us.
When it comes to both guys as well, and we honor the memory of the late, great Emmanuel Stewart, who founded the legendary Kronk Boxing Gym. And the reason why I bring up Emmanuel is because Emmanuel was the first guy that I know of that said both guys, Wilder and Fury, are going to be the best of the best in the heavyweight division. And he passed away in 2012. How it's unbelievable that he had the foresight to say these two guys are the cream of the crop in the heavyweight division. Fast forward 3 years later, that Deontay Wilder would capture the heavyweight championship of the world in January of 2015 against Berman Stavern, and then when Tyson Fury would upend Klitschko to become the lineal heavyweight champion of the world.
I guess he knew a little something about boxing, right?
I would say so. But, I mean, to be able to make that bold prediction and for it to come to fruition, and now fast forward nearly 9 years later after his passing, and his nephew, Sugar Hill Stewart, is training Tyson Fury.
It's crazy how things work out, but everything, as Tyson will tell you, is destiny. It's what it's meant to be. It's in God's hands. The way that they've came together, the way that he feels like Sugar has improved his ability. And Sugar said, look, you're not going to come in here and change everything that Tyson Fury has done. Just like Malik Scott is not going to come in and change everything that Deontay Wilder has done. But one thing that Sugar did say is that they've worked on the power. They've wanted to work on that crunk power, that classic crunk combination, to bring forth a little bit extra in the power category from Fury. Whereas Wilder, working off that jab, keeping that hands up, working on the footwork. You see it in all the videos. He's working on boxing. Fury's working on the power. It's interesting.
So, and what are we going to see in this third fight? Are we going to see a more Deontay Wilder who wants to box a little bit more? Are we going to see a Tyson Fury who wants to fight a little bit more compared to that and follow the game plan of what he did in the second fight? Or is Fury going to go back to boxing in the third fight? Is Deontay Wilder going to go ahead and want to just load up those rocket right hands because everyone that he's hit has at one point or another tasted the canvas?
Those are the million-dollar questions. And if we knew the answer, we'd probably be running to the sports book right now to put some money on the fight. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. That's what everybody wants to know. And, I mean, last time, Tyson told us exactly how it was going to go. Exactly what he was going to do. I
thought he was crazy. I know, I literally thought, there's no way that's happening. And he went out and did it.
That's right. And he says he's going to do the same thing this time, but earlier than round 7.
And also, the fact that I have been around Deontay Wilder a long time, and this is the best I've seen him in all aspects of his game. I mean, this is a very sharp and determined and mightily focused Deontay Wilder. I mean, he's from there in Alabama. He's known as the Bronze Bomber because he's following that of Joe Louis. And can you imagine if he can go out there and gain this victory over Tyson Fury? This is a legacy fight for both guys.
So Wilder wins. You personally, Don, you don't want to see anymore. You're good with a draw and each guy having a win?
I mean, I'll let the matchmakers handle that because I love watching both guys fight. If the fans want it, then by all means. But I know fans want to see unification. And, Usyk just picked up a win over Anthony Joshua. You know that guy. Usyk is watching this fight very intently to see not only is it the question of who's going to win on Saturday, but I think more the operative word is how they're going to win on Saturday.
I think either way, I mean, from what we've heard from both guys, even Deontay saying it up here when you asked him, I think that they're ready, no matter who wins, to move on and to unify the titles. So, as you mentioned, I'm sure Alexander Usyk will be watching very closely, just as both of these guys were watching that fight, I'm sure, against Anthony Joshua as well. And
I know that both guys have disdain for one another, Wilder and Fury, but the one thing I do know is that Fury has said about Deontay, he goes, listen, he's the best heavyweight in the world. And Deontay Wilder, he goes, listen, the talk about Joshua and Usyk, whatever, I'm focused on Tyson Fury. Both men realize, I think they bring the best out of each other. That's why we've seen such compelling fights between these two.
100%. I mean, if you watch Fury fight Otto Wallin or Schwartz, you kind of were like, this is the guy? Some people had some questions.
Yeah,
after
you fought
those
here, Otto Wallin. You were here for that.
Don't get me wrong. Won both of the fights, dominated, cut, dealt with all of that. Shout out to Jorge Capetillo for coming through in that fight for Tyson. But look, the stakes are raised, like you said, when both guys know what's at stake, what's at hand. The biggest pay-per-view, the trilogy. Undoubtedly, you'll see the very best Deontay Wilder and the very best Tyson Fury on Saturday, and I have no doubt about that.
Well, and also tomorrow we're going to have the final press conference, and when you're around somebody that is trying to beat you and take food off your family's table, you know that they're kind of like, all right, I'm at my wit's end with this guy. I've been seeing him around for the past several years. They took one fight in between, and then they had that rematch. But other than that, with the exception of that fight with Wallin that Tyson Fury had here at T-Mobile, the fact that Wilder had the knockout win over Dominic Breazeale, for the past 3 years, it's pretty much been the other man. For Wilder, it's been Fury. For Fury, it's been Wilder. You know that finally they're going to say, okay, I don't got to deal with this guy anymore.
100%. And I think that that's why both of them pretty much are confident that they're going to go in there and knock each other out. I mean, you have talked to many fighters, as have I, that say that they don't want to predict a knockout. That they say, I never want to predict a knockout. We'll see how it goes on Saturday. These guys have not shied away from that whatsoever in this promotion or the promotions before.
Well, now, Christina, we want to bring up the WBC heavyweight champion of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, he's undefeated, possessing a record of 30 wins, no losses, 1 draw, 21 wins coming by way of knockout. The lineal heavyweight champion of the world once again making the ring walk here at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas as he defends his championship against Deontay Wilder. Here is the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. Christina, it's all you.
Thank you, Ray. Mike, you got what you need? What's up, Tyson? How are you?
I'm good. Are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for joining us here today. Finally, fight week. God, I feel like it's been forever to get to this point.
20 months in the making, so we're all glad we're here, and it's. I'm glad I brought a good British weather with me. Nice and cold for Las Vegas.
You actually have a shirt, a vest on, though, this time. Now, look, Deontay was up here earlier. Malik Scott, focused, ready to go. I know you don't pay attention to social media. You don't pay attention to what has been said. But he was asked about if he was going to be a more refined or a brand new Deontay Wilder, and he feels like it's going to be the reintroduction of him. Do you really, really feel that there's anything new in this amount of time that has passed that the world could see from him?
I think you could go to college and get a master's degree in nearly 2 years. So for a boxer to change his style is very easy to do. But no matter what Deontay Wilder does, I'm still going to knock him the fuck out. No problem.
In how many rounds, Tyson?
Quick time, quick fashion.
So get your beers and get in your seat quiet.
Like my trainer Sugar Hill says, we just bang and get it over with.
Now, let's talk about Sugar for a minute. Yeah. You've had extended time now to prepare and work with him. How good was it for you guys to have a little bit, albeit because of COVID, but once you were back in the gym, to just work on that rapport even more and on that power, like he said?
Yeah, it's been good, you know. We've had such a long time in the gym together. We've been on holidays, we've hung out. We've done so much stuff, Christine. It's been unbelievable. We chilled out in Vegas for quite a few months. We've been training the full time. Not had the fights, unfortunately, but COVID fucked up the world, so we'll see.
What do you make of everything, although you don't pay attention to it? You've been asked about it time and time again, about basically him not accepting the loss and there being a handful of other reasons about why you could have possibly won that fight. What do you say, and what do you think about that mental fortitude to not actually accept what happened in the last fight?
It just shows you that I'm living in Wilder's mind rent-free the whole time, 2 years. Every time he looks in the mirror, he sees Tyson Fury. Every time he goes to bed, before he closes his eyes at night, he sees the Gypsy King. And everything he wakes up and thinks about in the morning, he thinks of Tyson Fury. Even when he goes to sleep at night with his missus, he's thinking of Tyson Fury. You know, it's crazy. It must be crazy to be obsessed with a man like me so much in his life that... Crazy. It's just crazy. But, you know, I've not really made too much of what he says, because this time I'm going to put a knuckle duster on each hand, and then I'm going to go into the fight. I might even put double knuckle dusters on.
A couple egg whites extra?
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe I even bring like a steel baseball bat into the ring, maybe in my trousers or something, who knows. Can't tell with the Gypsy King. I'm magic, I'm like Houdini.
Yeah. Much of you've said that this is not round 1 of the third fight, but instead round 20. Yes. For those people that were under a rock or have not watched either of the 2 fights or are still even on the fence about coming out to Las Vegas and joining us, what can they expect from the Gypsy King in round 20 of this third fight?
We're just going to get straight on the front foot, straight at him, and start trading straight away from round 1. You know, Wilder's the biggest puncher in the history of our sport. But I've got the biggest balls in the history of our sport, as I've proved many, many times. It's going to be exciting, you know. Wilder's a dynamite puncher, and, you know, as we've seen over the last few months, we've seen the heavyweight landscape change so much. But I'm still on form, I'm still doing what I've got to do, and I'm the only undefeated world heavyweight champion left. The only one standing. Crazy.
I remember speaking to, this is a little bit of a throwback, but Andy Lee after he fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And he said, when I hit Chavez Jr. with the hardest punch that I could hit him with, and he took it on the chin and continued to come forward, I was mentally broken in that fight and knew from that point on it was over. You took 2 huge right hands from Deontay Wilder in the second fight. He floored you twice in the first fight, and you got back up. What does that do to a fighter mentally when you know you've taken pretty much everything he's had to offer and still won the fight?
You know, I've never experienced it because I've never actually, someone's never done that to me. But Wilder's still thinking about what happened in 2018. How the fuck did he get up in round 12 after being knocked out? It's like you hit a guy with your best shot, you knock him out, he gets back up, gets back into you, and then does exactly what he says he's going to do in the rematch, and takes me out, you know. So there's not much I can say. I'm not here to slate Deontay Wilder. He is what he is.
Oh, now.
Honestly, I think the guy's a real piece of shit. He's a real piece of work. And nobody or nothing will ever change my mind. When we was first going to fight, I thought he was a decent man, like a family man, you know, doing it for his kids and all that. But now I know he's a real piece of garbage, piece of rubbish. And I'm going to knock him spark out on Saturday night. And I cannot wait to get him in that ring and give him a good hiding, for sure. I might even take it slow with him. I might take it slow and punish him, make him say no mas.
Okay, a little no mas in there. All right, we're going to open it up for the fans, actually for the media to ask some questions.
I feel like we're getting close.
I know, come over here. Shall we dance, Tyson?
Yes,
I would love to dance.
Right, where's the DJ? Hit the music.
Hit it. You say. All right, we're going to go. Gareth has a question right here. Go ahead, Gareth.
Tyson, do you have to be at least a little cautious that he may have improved in the last 20 months under Malik Scott and Don Howes?
I'm really hoping he's improved because I'm here for a fight and I want a challenge. I didn't come all over America and be undefeated for 13 years not to get a challenge, Gareth. You know me. Harder the challenge, the better I fight. So hopefully he comes, and I hope he's 50, 60% better than he was last year or the year before, because I know I've got better, and I don't need to get better because there's an old saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So we'll see. But I believe I've improved 30, 40% than I was before. So if he hasn't, then he's in for a real beating, for sure.
And finally, you have a home here, you're licensed here. He's American, but do you feel like the home fighter?
For sure. This is Las Vegas. I was built and born for this. Las Vegas is the home of the Gypsy King, for sure.
I mean, look at the outfit. Is he not? Is he not ready for Las Vegas? All right, next question, right over here.
Tyson, do you feel that this is a do-or-die fight for Deontay? A win and his career is done?
When I beat him this time, his career's over. Just like if AJ loses again to Usyk, his career's over too. So, yeah, he really needs a win, but he ain't getting it, that's for sure.
Another question?
Right here.
Back here.
Tyson, what weight are you planning on coming in at, and what advantage do you expect that to give you?
I'm going to come in at heavyweight, and, you know, what do you think, Christina?
Like 270-ish, maybe?
No, you didn't say that before.
265 is what I said. It's all a guess.
Yeah, it was a good guess. Okay. It was a good guess. But listen, it doesn't really matter what weight heavyweight comes in at. Whether he comes in at 210 pounds or he comes in at 310, it's really unimportant, you know. I recently watched a documentary on the great Sonny Liston, and they said he was the first of the real big men. He weighed 215 pounds and he was 6'1". So anybody can knock anybody out in any size. A little man can knock out a big man, as we've seen with David and Goliath all of years ago. So it's not really the size of the man, it's the fight within the individual, that's for sure.
All right, I think that's it. Thank you, Tyson, for your time. We really appreciate it.
That was quick.
That's it. Well, I'm sure they're gonna follow you back over here and ask you some more. Give it up for the Gypsy King. You're so welcome.
Thank you.
The Gypsy King, your undefeated lineal and WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury. Let's bring Ray Flores back up here to wrap this up. Woo!
Well, that's a very focused Tyson
Man,
Fury.
fighting words from both sides.
And I think that we talked about the respect from Tyson towards Deontay. I think that's been dispelled in the sense of what he said. He used some expletives that I will not use, but I mean, there is no love lost between the two.
Nope, and I'm okay with it. At the end of the day, it's mutual on both sides, and it just makes for, an even more exciting build-up, and then finally on Saturday night, fight night.
And also, we have, the president, the CEO of Top Rank, the legendary promoter Bob Arum. He said this several times. This is boxing. They don't have to like each other, right, Bob? It's okay if they don't like each other. Let them settle it in the ring.
He got the
They
accent
don't have to be, come on, this is boxing. I can't wait. Listen, we're just starting fight week here in Las Vegas. Tomorrow, you want to tune into the press conference. They haven't been on the same stage with each other since June, right, Christina?
That's right. Since we hosted the press conference in Los Angeles before the fight got postponed. So they will be face-to-face. There will be a face-off, and you won't want to miss it tomorrow.
And then Thursday, the undercard presser, because this undercard is loaded. Credit to all the matchmakers in both promotional entities of PBC, Top Rank, TGB Promotions for making a sick undercard. Friday, the weigh-in. Saturday, fight night. We get going before 2 o'clock. We got you covered all week long. Christina, can't wait to work with you the rest of the week.
I'm ready. I'm fired up. I wish today was Friday and tomorrow was Saturday, but we're going to continue to build the hype all fight week long. Keep it on Top Rank and PBC's social channels for the schedules, the start times in your area. Select tickets still available to join us on Fight Night here at the T-Mobile Arena on Saturday, or you can buy the fight on pay-per-view.
No
ESPN
doubt.
Plus pay-per-view.
Fox Sports pay-per-view. Make sure to do it. And also, we are here in Las Vegas. Nothing better than the heavyweight championship of the world as we get closer to Saturday. On behalf of Christina Pancha and the words of the great Elvis Presley, Viva Las Vegas and Viva Wilder Fury #3 on pay-per-view. We'll talk to you tomorrow.